Good morning. Can you hear me? Well, you can. That's good because I can't. Okay. So thank you all for coming. This is really great. So as you can see, the slides up here, it's summertime. So we have a raft of issues this morning. We're going to dive right in. Come on, I was hoping for a bigger splash than that. All right. Before we get into the swim of things, Pastor Leslie will settle things down.
He just thinks I'm going to settle things down. We have a prayer of thanks today. Gracious and loving God, thank you for your amazing work in our lives. Thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us. Thank you that you bring hope even through the toughest of times, strengthening us for your purposes. Thank you for your great love and care, mercy and grace. Thank you that you are always with us and will never leave us. Thank you for each person gathered here today, for their skills, talents, hopes, and dreams. Guide us in this meeting today to accomplish our goals, to learn new things, and to grow. We ask you to renew our spirits, to fill us with your peace and joy. We give you praise and thanks. Amen.
Thank you. So we have a really full agenda today. I hope there were enough in the back that everybody got one. Just one slight change. When Reggie's going through the two things, we're just switching transportation and touchdown update. So the touchdown will come first, and I think you're going to be pretty excited about that. A couple of housekeeping things. This is being live streamed on the Hearthstone YouTube channel, and then also it will be replayed on channel 370 tonight. And at what time? 7. At 7 o'clock, and all week long. So with that, would you please welcome our CEO, Reggie Mullis.
Good morning.
Wait. Well, no, we'll do it after. If you follow the agenda, you can see I've already screwed it up. No, keep going, because we'll do our business after you're all done. Okay. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Frank is great. It's so good to see all of you. It's not quite standing room only, but I count maybe 12, 14 seats available. So the two important things that we want to share with all of you today, and those that will watch the video later, and I think I'm being told to maybe move into the line of sight here of the camera, are our touchdown advances that we've made. We believe we've made considerable improvements in our touchdown application, and then also we're going to get a fleet update from Jeff Smith, our driver. I'll talk more about that. I'll come back after Hallie. So last minute I decided to have Hallie join us first. And I have notes, I just have to find them. I'll get that one later. Thank you. That's Frank's agenda. Clearly it doesn't matter. So I want to talk for a second about touchdown, and then I'm going to turn it over to Hallie. But a little bit about how we got here. So touchdown was purchased, and we've paid a monthly fee here at the community for several years. When I got here, I was actually very pleased to learn that we had touchdown. In my work elsewhere, I've always believed that the touchdown application is just simply one of the best ways for residents to know what's going on, to be able to communicate, and to really be able to explore other residents and information about them. Hallie will talk more about that. Unfortunately, it had really not been fully developed and deployed out to all of residents. Our utilization was about a third of the independent living residents, and we should be closer to 80% or more. I I want to acknowledge the efforts of a number of people that have helped make the new touchdown, which I like to call it, a reality. And you know, those include folks in our resident engagement department, Pedro and his team, folks in our dining services area, John and Johanna, our HR team, and I think I pretty much got everybody except Hallie. And for those of you who don't know Hallie, you're getting ready to meet her. She's going to stand up here. But I just want to take a minute and put a plug in. I could not do my job without this lady. She is a wonderful link to not just all of you, but to our board, to our vendors, our service providers. She helps me. She keeps my schedule straight. And that's why I tell people, if you want to meet with me, you got to start with Hallie. It's not a got to, but you'll have better luck if she puts you on my calendar. So the other piece of Touchdown that she will talk about are our ambassadors, volunteers among the resident group that have agreed to sort of be the point persons for questions. So if you have trouble with Touchdown, you don't understand it, you can't get it to load, or you have it and it's not working right, the folks you'll meet after her presentation are the keys. This is the easiest way to get good information. Touchdown is not a part of our information technology team of one now with Stephen. He's been helpful in getting the program up and running. He's responsible for the digital screens that you see and how well they work. However, resident engagement and Hallie really put that information up there for you. So, the presentation you're about to see will be an abbreviated version of one that Hallie did for your resident council. This is resident assembly. Resident council is about 20 folks. And she did that last Thursday, and they enjoyed it so much they asked her to come back and to give a shorter version for all of you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hallie. She's going to show you some slides and screens. And with that, welcome to the new Touchdown. This you go up there.
Hi, I'm Hallie, for anyone that doesn't know me. Uh-oh, this was locked in.
Isn't technology grand?
So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a nervous speaker, and Reggie knows that too, so.
But you're a good speaker.
Oh, well. Okay, let's try this. Yay. Okay, so as you guys can see, there are more modules than we've ever had before. Everyone, this rolled out yesterday, so you guys should all be able to view these now. So I'm just going to go through briefly, like Reggie had said. Everybody on the council has had the same sort of training, and then we'll also introduce the ambassadors so that you guys know where to go if you need any help with it. So our community calendar, this is going to have all the activities on it, and you can filter it. So we have Pastor Leslie's calendar, we have fitness, we have all kinds of stuff. So you can go there and search by day, you can filter by calendar, you can filter by evening, morning. Announcements you're all familiar with. These are going to be anything that's rotating on the digi screens. Dining menus, this is going to be preloaded a week in advance so you can see what's coming up on the menu. And we have a meeting with the Touchdown representative next week to clear out a lot of this, so we're hoping that that will help things load a lot. As Reggie had mentioned, this was initially implemented in 2020. It just never took off, so we will be cleaning that out. Dining information, you'll find takeout hours here, the bistro, menu. You'll find the dining room hours. You'll find anything and everything that you need about dining in here, as well as Rachel's Mindful Scoop, our registered dietitian. And if you don't know, that comes out every month. That's okay. Okay, here in documents, I always suggest doing your collapse all so you can see the various categories and then you can open them one by one. We have made a decision that we're going to move this library tab over to its own icon, so you'll see that soon, and that way we can navigate through that a lot easier. You'll find org charts in here, directories by first name, by apartment number, COVID updates, audits, all that good stuff. Resident directory, you guys are familiar with that. Everyone should have a picture in there now. Staff directory, same thing. Future events and info, we are gonna be putting more information about the various activities that you do here, or if there's something, the calendar's a 30-day rolling events, so anything after that 30 days of activities, you'll see it in here. You'll also find more information on class descriptions for the fitness classes, stuff like that. Messages, you can now message people in app. So I can send Tim a message, or I can send Pam a message. I can do that through Touchtown now, so you can communicate with others. We can also send out a master message to the community as well. Hearthstone newsletters, you'll find your Hearthstone Connection, the new newsletter in here, management updates, the Hearthstone announcements from previous year, and Spark. Hearthstone University, this one, the only caveat to this guy is if you're on a laptop, you'll need to download it. Once you download it, any of the hyperlinks will work and take you right to the videos. Coming soon, so this survey, I had emailed about this morning. This is only going to be activated when we're doing a live survey, so you'll see it saying coming soon unless we're actually conducting a survey. Work orders, we're really excited about this. I know Tim's team is too. You can click here and you can select any of these options. It knows who you are. You'll put in your work order, then you can track it. So if you have something wrong in your apartment, you put it in and it'll give you a status. It's been received, it's in progress, it's completed. And then this guy's gonna be all the new residents that we are welcoming as they come in. So. And now, if I could have all of our ambassadors come up here, they have been so wonderful and helpful.
Yes, I remember my job. I remember the agenda, but I can remember the job. Is that it?
And then, yeah, any staff that can help as well would, if you can come up. Pedro and his team are also ambassadors, they're just not present.
So I'm Frank Greif.
Stacy Elledge, HR.
Pastor Leslie.
Ariana Bauer.
Marnie Perry, Cove West.
Linda Peterson, Cove East.
Jim Blagg, Cove East.
Rita Smith, floor 5.
Don Bell, floor 9.
And they are to be referred to as Mr. or Ms. Ambassador.
So see any of us if you have questions. Thank you all.
So one thing I'd like to add for the skeptics in the room, and there might be a few, I was up in my apartment this morning going through this. Outside of this room, everything loads very quickly. There's been a significant increase in the speed of loading. You didn't see it here, but when you're outside of this room, it's there. Yeah. George's phone was very fast. Thank you. All right.
I'll just add a couple of things. Thank you, Hallie, for keeping that brief because we do have a lot to cover today. my director points me to where I'm in the camera or not in the camera. Thank you, Stephen. So I encourage you, first of all, get connected to Touchtown. If you don't currently have Touchtown downloaded on your phone or a tablet like the one I'm holding, then talk to one of the ambassadors. They can definitely help you get connected. It works really well. Again, thank you, Frank. Not here on Wi-Fi on a laptop, but in your apartment, your laptop, your desktop computers should work really well with Touchtown. So if you're having issues with your device connecting to our networks, that is something that Stephen can help support. Stephen does not support Touchtown. I want to make that really clear. Don't call him and say, I can't get the work order system to go. Talk to an ambassador. There was one other thing. Yes, thank you very much. I'm holding it in my hand. I can't remember it. So one of the promises I made early on as we were looking to really deploy Touchtown on a larger scale here was folks would make me aware that we have some residents that simply do not use technology. They either don't have a smartphone or maybe they have an old flip phone, whatever the case may be. They don't have a computer or a tablet or anything along those lines. So Stephen has helped to prepare a number of tablets that the Hearthstone owns. They were used for other purposes in the past. So we're excited to be able to offer these to those residents that don't have the ability to access technology. They're really kind of cool. We set them up to sort of be foolproof. Watch it not work. I know you can't really see it. There's the same screen. There's the same screen that Hallie was showing. It's all of those icons. You pretty much get that with one tap once you open this up. From there, you can explore, do whatever you want to do. Oh, one thing you didn't mention, I will share. There's typically on every page in Touchtown, there's a search bar at the top. Get creative as to what you can put in there. It depends on where you are in the program. But for instance, if you go and look at, I believe this works, the day-to-day menus, you can put in a food item and see if, what days that may be served. I haven't tested that personally, but I believe that's the way it works. More importantly, with residents, if you're wondering, I wonder who else moved here from Indiana. You go to the resident roster, and you put in Indiana. If it's mentioned in anyone's profile, their names will pop up. You do the same thing with golf, tennis, boating. I mean, the possibilities are endless. This is what's important about that, though. If you don't put that information in your profile in Touchtown, it doesn't do us any good to try to search for it. So over the next few weeks, our ambassadors are going to be encouraging all of you that are using Touchtown to go in and build out your profile. Not that mine is a great example, but if you want to see the kinds of stuff that we put in as employees, go to my profile. You just open it up, you can scroll down to M's, or you can just put in Reggie at the top. It should take you to the profile. Okay, I'll try to stop talking about Touchtown, but I'm really excited about it. Hallie has worked really hard. We've been on hours and hours worth of phone calls with the vendor. We've had group meetings in terms of how we designed this and rolled it out. So I'll be anxious. You meet again in September? September. So when the Assembly meets in September, we'll be anxious to hear how things are going. And we may even do a little impromptu survey to sort of find out whether it's been well received or not. If you know someone that might need technology support in terms of a device, just let Hallie or I know. Okay, and we'll get Stephen to prep one. We'll take it to that person. We'll train them on it. Okay? Great. So we're going to turn our attention now to what we're calling a fleet update. Sorry, I know I walk out of camera. I have to move around. I'm hot. So last December, we did a resident survey. One of the clearly indicated concerns by our independent living residents was transportation. Now, there are a lot of factors there. One is COVID. The other is we used to have 2 drivers, and at that time we had 1. So I want to update you, first and foremost, that we have been recruiting and interviewing for a second driver for almost 3 months, and we are yet to find the right candidate. Jeff leads that effort with our HR department, and so we're disappointed. We've had 2 people make it all the way to the final step of vetting, and they did not pass their clearance. And you don't want us putting anyone in a car with you that can't pass a background check, right? So stay tuned. We continue to recruit, to advertise. Jeff continues to interview. We really do hope we have someone soon. Talking about Jeff. So Jeff Smith is our transportation manager. I thought he was a driver. I never had seen his title. We got that cleared up. And we changed in our, if you've seen our organizational chart, Jeff reports directly to me. So once that happened, he and I began to meet almost weekly to talk about our transportation needs. And that's where this fleet update came from. I want to give Jeff a little plug here. He has been with the Hearthstone for 5 years. He has a background in automotive and transportation services, professional transport, that span a total of 23 years. He's still a young man, so that's pretty much been the bulk of his career. We are so fortunate to have someone like Jeff here. Add to that his just amazing personality and willingness to help. I think you all agree he is truly an asset to the community. So as we began to meet, we were talking about how can we make transportation better, besides getting a second driver, which we will do, we are committed to do, no question about that. But what can we do to make it better? So we began to talk about the problems and the opportunities. The first thing that came up was we have one vehicle, we owned one vehicle that was difficult to get in and out of. And if you've ever ridden in it, you know which one I'm talking about. That's the Sprinter, the gray van. We also have challenges when we get any significant amount of snow. Not for all of you, we're not typically going to transport you in bad weather. We have to have staff in this building, especially in our clinical areas. We're mandated. And so in years past, we've rented 4-wheel drive vehicles, which, by the way, when snow hits the forecast line, good luck finding one of those, right? And we've done a couple of other things, but we truly wanted a vehicle that could move our staff around in the snow. So that was an issue. And of course, accessibility. Based on our challenges with the Sprinter, we wanted a vehicle that, for all of you, is relatively easy to get in and out of. So that was probably one of the highest things. And I will tell you that, having been in this industry for a long time, for years and years, our go-to vehicle, the industry standard vehicle, was a Lincoln Town Car. It was the right seat height for most residents, good, solid, well-built, safe car, and they were attractive. They stopped making those, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago. Yeah, you can only buy a used one, and then it's going to be 8 or 10 years old. So, so that was out of the picture. But as I've worked in the industry since that point, the industry has struggled to find the right vehicle. They just simply don't make something that checks all the boxes, so to speak. We've used the Dodge wagon, I can't think of what that's called, Magnum. We tried those. We've tried the Dodge, or the Chrysler 300s. I'm looking at Jeff because he knows these things. And other vehicles. Of course, here at the Hearthstone, we landed on the Toyota Sienna minivan. Not a bad vehicle at all. But that vehicle is a lease. It goes away in December. And I'm promising you, Jeff and I will continue to think about what we do with that vehicle, whether we buy it out of the lease, whether we turn it in. Either way, we will get a third vehicle. We know that we're going to do that. Accessibility. So our overarching goal in this process has been to correct what we felt like were some problems associated with transportation. Together, he and I we worked on about 6 or 7 different criteria as we looked at vehicles. And Jeff led this. He's constantly researching, going and test driving and looking at vehicles and trying to find something that fits our needs. So on that list was accessibility, to get in and out of easily. the number of passengers it would hold. A lot of sedans are really 4-passenger vehicles, especially smaller sedans, and we wanted more than that as we think about moving staff around in the snow. Of course, the purchase cost was important. We honor our fiduciary responsibility to all of you. We're not going to go spend a ton of money on something that doesn't meet exactly what we need. We also looked at operational costs on a month-to-month annual basis. Jeff will talk a little bit more about that. We wanted a safe car, particularly one that would have all-wheel drive. We looked at some 4-wheel drive. There's nothing that matched the seat height that we needed. So we looked at all-wheel drive vehicles. We looked at storage capacity, because as you know, often when we go out, folks are coming back with bags of things or boxes of things, or they have a walker and we need to be able to store that as well. And on storage, just to give you a hint as why some of those other cars didn't work, it's important for our staff that drive to be able to put something into a trunk area and not have to lift it up 6 inches and drop it over in there. That's a back strain right there. So having a flat entry, which is one of the reasons the Dodge Magnum was considered at one point as a straight entry on the storage. But then the last thing, and I think this might very well be the most important thing, is to find an environmentally friendly. Yeah, I knew we'd get some hallelujahs on that one. So, you know, Seattle, Washington State, we're leaders, among the leaders in the country for, you know, working to try to preserve our environment for our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And so for Jeff and I, it was just really important that we think about that component. So, Jeff will speak after we watch a short video. I want to give him full credit. Jeff made this from scratch. This is all him. The photography, except for the opening scene, is all him. And he even did the voiceover. He just did a fantastic job. First time I saw it, I got cold chills. So it'll take us just a minute. We're going to turn off all the lights. We want you to enjoy this, and then Jeff will talk afterwards.
Are we ready with lights and everything? Yeah. Okay.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jeff, your friendly neighborhood driver, and I'm here to bring you an exciting update to our fleet. We have traded in our Sprinter van for something very special, but first let's do a quick reminder on what we already have. This is our 6-passenger Sienna Hybrid. It gets 36 miles per gallon. We switched from a gas Sienna over 2 years ago and have saved thousands in fuel ever since. As our former medical car, it has racked up over 34,000 miles, ferrying our residents in safety and comfort. This is a leased vehicle and will be returned in December of this year. This is our 14-passenger Chevy Arbach bus. We have had this bus for 13 years and it is used for large outings and shopping. It is ADA accessible with 2 wheelchair positions, a large ramp, and airbag suspension to lower down for easy entry. This is our 10-passenger Sprinter. Sadly, our Sprinter has not gotten much use over the years. It only has 8,000 miles and 6 years of ownership. Simply put, it really isn't fit for a retirement community. Places like the Hearthstone require specialty vehicles that allow everyone to use them, regardless of their mobility. Our Sprinter is simply too big, too tall, and too hard to get into. If you have limited mobility, it may as well look like this. Also, our Sprinter is a diesel that struggles to break 16 miles per gallon. And while diesels get slightly better fuel economy than gas engines, their exhaust is far dirtier. In fact, the particulates in it have been proven to cause cancer. Now, the one upside to our Sprinter is that it has held its residual value. We negotiated a high trade-in value, which allowed us to make a new purchase. When we initially began discussing a new vehicle, we wanted one that could do everything. Specifically, we needed a vehicle that could provide ease of entry for our residents, provide excellent fuel economy to save money and the environment, and have 4-wheel drive for our emergency weather events. Unfortunately, the better a vehicle is in harsh weather, the worse it is for ease of entry and fuel economy. It seemed like no such vehicle existed until I found the Tesla Model X. With its airbag suspension, it can lower itself to make getting in and out a breeze, and when needed, raise itself up to bound over snowdrifts. It gets the electric equivalent of 100 miles per gallon and requires almost no maintenance, both of which will save us thousands in the coming years. Now, these vehicles are normally quite expensive, which is why we purchased a used 2020 with only 32,000 miles. This is now going to become our primary medical car, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So that's our fleet. We traded in our Sprinter for a Tesla. I can already feel the environment thanking us. Going forward, the Tesla will be our primary medical car. The Sienna will be our backup vehicle and used for shuttles when staffing allows, and our bus will continue to take us on outings. If you have any suggestions on the future of our fleet, please feel free to email, call, or leave a note on my desk. I am proud to work for the Hearthstone, and I want to provide the best possible transportation for all of the residents that call this home.
Hi, so I'm Jeff. All right, can everybody hear me? So yeah, as Reggie said, it's pretty difficult to find a vehicle that really ticks all of our boxes. We have a specialty need here, and it's just, if you factor in the four-wheel drive, it's almost impossible. But I found out that these Model X's have a suspension, just like our bus does, that can raise and lower itself. And I really see every day, I see the struggle just to get a ride to the store or a ride to the doctor. And to have a car like this that is just, you can just go right in, and then if we ever have a snowstorm, it can actually raise itself to have the ground clearance to go through the snow. I mean, I think Elon Musk designed it that way for fuel efficiency, but it meets our needs perfectly. And I'm just so happy that vehicle had that. I actually didn't know that when I first started researching this, and now I know. And then once we started really getting into this car, it just ticked every box that we needed. The only box it didn't tick was brand new. They are very, very expensive. And so we did get a used model. And trading in our Sprinter was just the perfect idea. We found a dealer that has several of them on the lot, so they know Sprinters, but they weren't really a Tesla dealer. So they basically gave us the highest possible value for our Sprinter, while pretty much the lowest possible value for the Model X. Yeah, so it just ended up being the perfect storm of events to be able to actually purchase this car. And yeah, we've had a lot of struggles with finding cars. The last 2 years especially, there's been shortages of everything in regards to renting a car in the foul weather events. In fact, last year we were lucky it only lasted a day or two because we couldn't get a car. There was no cars available.
We need to point that closer towards your mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Too tall. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, this is the first time we've ever had a vehicle in, I believe, the history of the Hearthstone that can tackle those snow events. And so we can keep the building staffed. And, it really just ended up being the only vehicle that checked every box that we had. And, I mean, it is an amazing car to drive. It is very, very advanced. It's a steep learning curve. It takes some training to know how to operate these things. But I've been working with it for about 3 weeks now, and I've got it all figured out. We are definitely going to save quite a bit of money over the years just on fuel costs alone. We already are saving with our hybrid, but hybrids are just a stepping stone. The electric cars are really the future, and this car is definitely the future. And Seattle is an amazing place. We have very low electricity costs and a very powerful electric grid. So we can, basically charge this thing for free a lot of the time or for very, very nominal cost. And going to save us a lot of money. Yeah. That's pretty much all I have. I think the video said most of the things I wanted to say, but we're going to pull it around. So after the meeting, if anybody wants to come sit in it, wants to come poke its buttons, and check it out, it'll be outside. And then, of course, you can always schedule a ride with me if you want to go for a ride in it. Thank you.
Are you serious? They get to poke at the buttons? Could be quite dangerous. That's pretty exciting news. I think a round of applause for particularly Jeff and Hallie for making these two things happen. Other things are happening as well, right, Tim? How do you follow that, though? Well, you don't, So if you'll stand over there so that the camera can see you, that'd be great. Where Reggie says you're supposed to stand. That way.
Let me get something out first.
Oh, okay.
Because I have to talk from notes.
So for those of you who are trying to follow the agenda, don't.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start with the good,
I think you gotta go over to the right more. There you go.
the bad, and the good. Okay, we're going to start with sidewalks. The project is scheduled now for August. The only outlying thing that we're waiting for is a permit from the city to ensure that we do it correctly. I've got notification that it will take approximately 1 day to complete. The only outlier still is going to be the one area on the corner where we're going to have to do something a little different. And we're not sure what that is yet. But we're going to need more help with the city on that because we're going to have to tear up a whole section of sidewalk, probably cut some roots, and hopefully not kill a tree. Okay? Because we're not allowed to kill trees. Yeah, the city will give us an arborist. They'll give us the right people to help us do this correctly. Yeah, the one down here. First in Lakeview. And it's very noticeable. It's a huge rise. It's a very dangerous rise, not only for us, but for residents and general public. Everybody walks there. The second one, this is more the bad. And irrigation is still an issue. I'm still fighting with the company on this. I'm still fighting with finding the water pipes. I'm still having issues even over at the coves with certain areas not working correctly. So irrigation is becoming a big issue for me right now. And it's probably going to be my biggest challenge going through the month of August. Number 3, this is bad, good. Bad, good, a combination. June 20th, 2023, a day that will live in infamy. I'm stealing words from other people. That's when we burst the pipe on the ninth floor. Okay, it was a bad thing. However, it turned into a really good thing. And here's why I say it was a really good thing. It allowed us to look at our own emergency plan and how we respond to things. And it tested us. And there were areas we could improve on. We discussed them, we debriefed, we ran through the safety committee. We're going to continue to talk about it, but it gave us a chance from Reggie all the way down to the frontline employees of how to do things correctly in an emergency, because that was classified as an emergency event. And overall, the team did really good, extremely good. I was very impressed. I learned that I can't run up 9 flights of stairs, though, okay? That's an important lesson to learn. Floor 5, I was sucking air. Just going to say it. And I got that. And I'm going to say the best for last. Nathan, a new face. Nathan is a Sodexo employee, but he's going to be a Hearthstone employee. He is going to be my manager of support services. So you're going to hear that word more and more. Support services, that's what we're here for. That's our vision. That's our mission. I'm impressed with this guy because the first thing on his resume is emergency management and safety. Okay? That's what he focused on his resume, which really impressed me. as a highlight. And then the second was environmental services. He's coming to us from Minnesota. He packed up everything and moved out here last Sunday and started work on Monday. Past 15 years, I won't go into all the detail, but this is why he really shined for me. He's dabbled at the University of Minnesota in building and grounds as a supervisor. He's dabbled in healthcare as everything from a environmental services supervisor to material services associate. And on the side, when he was in between jobs, he was a protection specialist at Target. So he's done a lot of different things to get to the right point. And Nathan was looking for an opportunity to continue to grow. And so he was going to come out west regardless. We were fortunate enough to get him here in Seattle. Okay. Now I'm going to let Nathan introduce himself, the soft side, but he's going to be a great addition to me. He is my number 2. Okay. He's my number 2 now. So I have a number 2. That's always a good thing. Nathan?
No pressure. So it's been a while since I've talked in front of this many people, so bear with me. But my name's Nathan Alpaugh. I usually go by Nate. I come from Bryan, Ohio, actually. Grew up there and lived there most of my life. It is the home of the Ohio Art Etch-a-Sketch and Dum Dum Sucker. So I'm sure everybody's familiar with all those. I went to college, ran cross country and track, and for a little while there, then helped coach a high school team, my old high school team. Loved doing that, and I love to run, but unfortunately, osteoarthritis is a pain in the knee. I guess another quick fact about my family, my brother and I were born on the same day 2 years apart. My sister and her daughter were born on the same day 30-some years apart. And then both of my aunts were born on the same day about 10 years apart. So that's just a little interesting fact there. But I'm looking forward to working with everybody here. If you see me, pop up, say your name, I'm probably going to forget it, but I will do my best to get to know everybody here, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. So, thank you.
That's very good. Thank you very much. Okay, Jill. Just right there, yeah. Thanks.
Good morning. I want to thank you all again for always being so gracious and welcoming and willing to talk to people who I'm taking around the community and showing them around. You are absolutely invaluable in the sales process, and you're so gracious all the time, and I really appreciate it, whether we're in your apartment or in the hallway. It's really great to have such an engaged resident community. And sorry for the rustling here. And along those lines, I completely appreciate your curiosity around the unsold apartments in the community. I get a lot of questions about that. It's a pretty hot topic around here. As you know, there's significant demand for larger apartments here, and especially in this building. And the opportunity to create 2 of those has presented itself. And so we are in the design process right now. For this west side of the 7th floor. So there's been a lot of questions about those vacant apartments, and that's what's happening there. As you likely know, and as Tim just touched on, we're in the process of our first full-blown major renovation on the 9th floor. We're really happy with the work that Gary and his team have been doing, and we're really confident in their capabilities going forward on these next projects that will be in the pipeline soon. So while I won't always be able to answer your questions about unsold apartments, I want to make sure you know we have a plan, and we'll reveal those in due time. A few numbers for you. We've collected so far this year $3 million in entrance fees, and we have $1.1 million pending from closed sales that will be secured in the next couple of months. This week alone, we received 3 waitlist applications, adding to our more than 300 people on the waitlist. And things continue to be very busy and brisk in my world. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Of course, now it's time to hear from Rosie. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Rosie here. So, think I've met everyone here. You know who I am. In my role, I oversee a few other departments. Got you, Denise. Higher. Okay. So, I don't have a lot to report regarding my particular role, but I will talk a little bit about resident engagement. Pedro was slated to speak, but he can't always be here. He's filling in his department. Lots of things going on in resident engagement. So the first thing we'll talk about, you've already heard, is Touchdown, right? So with Touchdown, all of our resident engagement team members are ambassadors. So they've received all of their training. They're very comfortable in supporting any of our residents in the registration and the navigation of the Touchdown software. So if you need them, just reach out. I'm sure that you'll get more information on how to do that. Upcoming speakers. So our speaker sessions have grown, and we've been listening to residents' wants and needs as far as seminars, speakers, lecturers, and one in particular I'd like to touch on is related to what Tim talked about a little bit, and Nate, welcome to the Hearthstone. We've been able to coordinate a speaker through Medic One Foundation. And lots of you have probably heard about Medic One, which started out from a physician who, after many, many years working at Harborview Medical Center, saw a need in the community for additional training of EMTs and emergency services in the Seattle area. So he started this foundation, and I think it's more than 40 plus years up and running, and they have partnered with some other senior communities who have donated thousands and thousands of dollars to contribute to the training of new EMTs. It's I believe a 17-month process. It's pretty expensive, and this foundation supports the training and the financial support that these new-to-be EMT trainees they get to benefit from this program. So they will be coming, I believe, one day this week. I'm not sure of the date, but again, Touchdown and other postings. They will be speaking about, I believe, what to expect when you dial 911. Now, we've all been instructed that if you have an emergency, you use your Sarah button, but call 911, have someone call 911 from a landline here at the Hearthstone so that the front desk knows what to do. If you use your cell phone, we won't know about it, so we can prepare for their arrival, okay? But there are lots of other pieces that fall into place when you dial 911. Medic One Foundation are the professionals. They will be speaking on that topic. And then we will have them back again to speak about other topics related to emergencies and personal safety. Let's see, the next item is that the Hearthstone Volunteer Program has been officially reestablished, and it's comprised of two, I see someone jumping for joy back there. The two areas are the one-to-one volunteering opportunity and the Tri-Shaw Volunteer Pilot Program. So if you would like to express your interest in either of these two programs, please reach out to Pedro, either at his extension or email, and he will guide you through it. So some of our volunteers that are interested in the process, interested in the program, are already going through the process. We're waiting for, again, your background checks, TB testing if you're going to be in the license area, so all of that, backroom stuff that's happening. And then a reminder to refer to the Hearthstone Connection, our newsletter. This will be our third month. It now has an official name. It's called the Hearthstone Connection. And Touchdown for announcements, upcoming events, trips, and activities. That's it for resident engagement. The dining services update, I'll leave up to Penny. She will share some of the highlights of the most recent dining committee meeting. Any questions? Yes, Denise. I'll come right to you.
You said that you would want, if we have an emergency, use our Sarah button.
Yes.
And also call 911.
If you feel it's an emergency, call 911. If you are calling for assistance, then use your Sarah.
All right. When you call 911, you said use a landline, not a
Yes.
cell phone, so that you're in the loop.
Correct.
When we use the landline, every apartment, I believe, has a phone.
That's a good question. Say that again?
Straight 911, guess how I know?
You've done it before.
Straight 911.
Straight 911. Good question. Glad you had the answer. One sec. Yes? For volunteer opportunities, so there are one-to-one opportunities where you work with the residents, support them in whatever activity they are trying to engage in. It could be just something they're working on separately or part of a group and helping to help them get the most out of the programming. So we would have our resident engagement program, but some of our residents in the licensed areas may need some assistance in the participation.
And you said
It can be
something
going
else.
for a walk, I mean, all sorts of things.
Okay, I thought you mentioned two different volunteer opportunities.
There are, so the second one are the
Tri-
Trishaws.
What's that?
The bicycles. Yeah, the Trishaw pilot, not a pilot program.
Rosie,
Yes, Mary Kay.
what is the update on the COVID status within the community?
COVID status, we're looking great. We just had one staff member who tested positive. She's returned to work. Mild symptoms. We didn't have anyone else who was exposed or experienced any sort of symptoms from that. So we're doing rather well. I would check our website for any updates. If there aren't any updates, there aren't any changes, that means it's our most updated information is still considered current, if that makes sense. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I so love how she causes me to think of things. Thank you, Rosie. This is a plug for Touchtown and why I feel like you need Touchtown. The easiest way to get in touch with me, Rosie, Jack McKittrick, Hallie, Jill, Tim, you go into Touchtown, you go to the staff, is that what it's called, staff roster, click there. You can scroll down or just put in somebody's first name, put in Jill, you'll probably get two, Jill and Jillian, but you put in their name, you go to their profile, and you'll see their extension number, you'll also see their email address. Now here's what's cool. You click on that email address, it will set you up to send a message. It's just that easy. Just type in whatever you want at the top, put email, and hit send. When we get those, they look a little different. We don't know they're from you when they come up on our Outlook screen, our email screen, but because it says community apps. So that's the parent company of Touchtown. So that if you ever get a message from somebody in your email, if you see community apps, that's a safe message to open. One more thing, because I've had this asked before. Touchtown is a closed environment. So whatever we put there, whatever we share, if you put, where you were born or any of that information, and Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is not accessible by the outside world. So you can't have somebody come in here and get enough information about you to try to do you harm. I know that can sometimes be a concern, but Touchtown is a limited number of user, beg pardon? I'm sorry, did somebody have a question? Okay. All right, so thank you all.
All right, thank you. So we now go to, I could call the meeting to order now, right? Let's give a round of applause to the staff and everybody who's worked so hard and gave us some really good presentations today. All right, the meeting has officially come to order. And Meg, do you want to talk about the minutes and do that thing?
Am I on? Or?
You're on.
Okay, I'm on. I believe you all had access to the minutes of the last meeting, which I shipped from New York State to here when after the last meeting.
You got to talk right into it.
And anyway, I believe you've all had access to the minutes. There are two corrections that needed to be made to them. One, I got Laurel Johnson's last name wrong, and two, what was two? Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
oh, is it oh, okay, I thought I had the wrong school, but maybe I had the wrong program as well, okay. Grand Pals program at Lincoln School. With those corrections, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
It's been moved and
All in
seconded.
preference, all in favor? Thank you. Minutes are approved.
Wonderful. Now we'll hear from Allison with a treasurer's report.
The balance as of June 30th was $2,465.05. A bill was paid to the library for book purchase of $65.84, and the current balance is $2,399.21. I want to just add something to what Rosie was talking about, the Medic One program. The resident council gives a yearly donation to Medic One, thanks to all of you, and I thought you'd like to know that.
How much is it?
$1,000. So that completes the treasurer's report.
Thank you. Carolyn's going to talk a little bit about her favorite subject, and we hope all of yours, the Employee Appreciation Fund.
I think by now you know I'm the cheerleader for the Employee Appreciation Fund. And I've been promising you an update to how much money has been donated to this point. Excuse me. It's hard to get a definite figure, but it's around $18,090-some, and that would come mostly from people who donate monthly. So there must be about $3,300 donated every monthly that goes into this fund. But I think you're familiar with our blanks, are bright yellow. They'll be bright yellow as long as I find this paper. These are downstairs in the resource center, and you can pick one up anytime. But the point is, even if you're not a monthly giver, and there are not that many, most of you are not, you can give a lump sum by cash or by check anytime. Like doesn't mean you have to give just one time a year or monthly. You can pick one of these up anytime and give a lump sum. So if I say we're halfway through the year, we have roughly $18,000. Last year, we had $124,000. So we have a long ways to go, and obviously, most money is given near the end of the year, but I'm just saying you can give any time. My little inspirational vignette that I want to tell you about comes from the maintenance department, who wait on us all the time. And when you think back to the, quote, good old days when you lived in your own home, when something went wrong, you either hoped you were handy or someone else in the household was handy, or you knew how to call a handy man or woman to come help you. Here it's been easy. We've had a simple number that most of us can remember, and now they talk in Touchtown about being able to put in your own work order. So what would we do without maintenance? My vignette has to do with a story a resident here told me that happened recently. She called maintenance because she had some problem. I don't know what it was. The maintenance person, he happened to be a man, came, solved that problem, and left. The next day, he came back voluntarily and said to her, I couldn't sleep last night because I was worried about you tripping over that extension cord covered over with a rug. So I have brought you, and this is my visual aid. Do you know what this is? What is it? Help me out here. It's a multiple plug-in device, isn't it?
Surge protector.
He brought her this device, was able to do away with the extension cord, that rug covering it, and it made it a safer community for her. So I'm just going to have a little play on words and say, I hope you get plugged in to the Employee Appreciation Fund and remember all the many ways we are served by the hourly employees here at the Hearthstone. If you're new, I've got, and you want one of these funds, come up here, ask me questions. You can get it right here. Thanks for being here today.
It's great to have a champion like you. All right, the agenda calls for the President's report. I think we'll follow that one. I have very little to say. A couple of really fun things, interesting things that have been suggested. Laura Sanders suggested that with the upcoming election for City Council, we're in City Council District 6, it might be a good idea to have a candidates forum here. So she has agreed to go through that process, provided you all would like to hear that. So if you like that idea, say yes. Yes. Wonderful. Then Barbara Quinn, who lives in Cove East and is a new resident, there she is, raised her hand, has agreed to step up and join the Green Lake Community Council to represent us. I'm going to assume that's a favorable response. Thank you very much for doing that, both of you. It was mentioned about the trishaws. Insurance is now in place, finally, for the drivers. And very soon, Pedro will be issuing a form, a release that needs to be signed by drivers and all of that sort of stuff, and the process for becoming certified. So that should happen very, very soon. So now, on to floor reports. And rather than have everybody run up here, I'll run to wherever Irene is. Where are you? Eileen, I mean. There's Eileen.
Thank you. Okay, so assisted living. People are looking forward to learning about Touchtown, but I think there's a great deal that needs to happen in terms of educating the many people in assisted living who have no computer background or connection. So looking forward to finding out what can be done to get on board.
Great, thank you. Fifth floor. Laurel, where are you? Right back there?
It's on? Yeah. News we have, Floycelyn Jackson is supposedly going to be coming back to her apartment today. She's spent 3 weeks in the health center due to a knee replacement surgery, so that's good news. And we've missed her. We still have an open apartment, but we're having a root beer party next month. So, okay, sixth floor.
All right, thank you. Jackie? There you go. Okay, here.
I'll wait here.
Hello. I think some people already heard this, but we did have a strawberry festival on our floor last month, and everybody really enjoyed that. And we had homemade shortcake. The other thing is I just recently heard that we will be having a new resident in room 621, I believe, but that's all the information I have right now.
Thank you. And for the seventh floor, Jim.
Yeah, the seventh floor this June put out a display of seashells right across from the elevator. And there's about 300 or 400 seashells there. And then it was asked to go to the 5th floor. So for this month of July, we're on the 5th floor with that same display. And then it'll be moving, requested to move to the 9th floor. So enjoy. Thank you.
Can vouch that sea life is worth looking at.
It is. It's just amazing. The shells traveling around the world and now the Hearthstone. Okay, from the 9th floor, Gene. I mean, 8th. I'm sorry, Liz, you're way over there. Yeah.
Good morning. We also had a strawberry party, and it was very well received. I think everybody enjoyed it. And this month, we're going to have a lemonade goodies party on the dining room patio, so toward the end of the month. We don't have any other things to report except people on our floor are wondering if there could be a piece of paper. I know
A little closer to your mouth, if you would.
a piece of paper that has the instructions of how to log in and how to actually get on Touchtown. Because that's, once we're on, it's fun, but getting on is kind of, and for some of us who can do things but not really well. And then the other thing is we're wanting a written list of the ambassadors so we know how to find them.
Okay, so in response to that, we have a form, exactly what you're looking for, and we will make sure that that is distributed, stapled to a list of the ambassadors. So it's a great suggestion. We'll make that happen. Okay. Now the 9th floor.
Thank you. Yes, we are the notorious 9th floor, known for the waterfall going down the side of the building in June. We also had a lovely strawberry shortcake party in June, and I don't know if you all know this, but August 6th is National Root Beer Float Day. And I will be suggesting that at our floor meeting next week that we also have that. And we also have beautiful flowers on our shared balcony by the elevator. So if anyone wants to come and look at them, it's just a gorgeous display of lovely summer flowers. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, Cove East, Denise. 10th floor, what seems to be my problem today? Little distracted. I think it's because it's too sunny and nice. I'm sorry.
Everything's fine on the 10th floor. We do have 1002 still vacant, and it doesn't look like that's one they can combine with another unit to make a bigger one. So we're hoping for some real excitement and energy to come move in there. And also Sue Bush passed away, as you may know, and her unit will be coming up. It's a very beautiful, very large studio with a great view. We're planning some fun activities. Keith has lots of ideas, and we may start out with making apple butter in the fall. But meanwhile, we're looking at a root beer float day 2.
Right, thank you. Now, I think I have this right. Cove East. Are we going to try that? Okay.
Okay, we are full. Yay. All apartments are full, and I'd like to thank, and we're also lucky, we have 2 ambassadors at Cove East, and I would like to thank Linda and Jim, and I don't think Jim's even unpacked yet, and he's already an ambassador, so he's one of our new residents. Let's see. Come to the bistro, and take your lunch out to the gardens next to Cove West. So it's been beautiful over there, luckily. I keep telling my friends back east, it's been sunny and warm in Seattle, and they're deluged with rain, so they're jealous. We just have one concern, and I think maybe Barbara's going to get caught up in this on the community council. People seem to be using the flower beds outside Cove East, and probably Cove West at night, and we don't know where they're from. Late at night, and that's been disturbing to our residents, so we're hoping maybe we can get some more security, nighttime security there. I guess that's it. I have a couple of other things, but I won't make the list too long.
All right, thanks. Cove West. There you are. Let me bring this to you, Elaine.
Hello, everybody. At Cove West, we are cooking up a barbecue for early August. Prior to that, we will be having one of our charter members, Dora, who is moving to assisted living, and we will miss her. And about the same time, we'll have a new person moving in, so we're going to have a little aloha party to welcome our new neighbor and say goodbye to Dora. Not really goodbye, but you know what I mean. Other than that, things are pretty okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements or thank you for being.
I just have one.
Lower your mask.
I have one idea for one thing about Touchtown. If you have a desktop computer only, you don't have a tablet or a phone, and you want to use your desktop because you can see it, there is a different way of signing into Touchtown. So call me, Linda Peterson, I'm over in Cove East, and I know the workaround. And I'm going
Right.
to tell the other ambassadors too, I won't keep it secret.
So the sheet that is handed out has both directions for doing it on a mobile device and a laptop.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
No, not just a laptop, I mean a desktop.
Yeah, even a desktop.
Okay, because it's a different, you have to go through the web.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Good, I just want to make sure people know that so they don't try the regular login
No.
on a desktop. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. You know, it's quarter after. I was hoping we'd end right on time. Let me give you one final bit of really good news. There are no meetings in August. I'm going to spend August trying to figure out how to have an agenda that I can follow. Have a great August. Thank you for coming. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Do I hear a second? Okay. Round of applause for everybody. Thank you.